America dazzles with cities that seem larger than life, neon skylines, sun-drenched beaches, and neighborhoods that promise endless possibility. Yet behind the glow lies a different reality, where the cost of simply existing can feel unbearable. Mortgages soar past reason, rents swallow entire paychecks, and insurance bills rival luxury car payments. These urban giants offer culture, excitement, and opportunity, but at a price that leaves countless residents questioning if the dream is worth the sacrifice. Number 10. Portland, Oregon. Portland is one of those cities that photographs beautifully on postcards. Snow-capped Mount Hood in the distance, bridges stretching across the Willamette River, and murals splashed on quirky neighborhoods. But behind that artsy charm is a reality that makes many locals wonder if the city still justifies its price tag. The median home value sits around $525,000, while the average property tax bill hovers near $5,300 annually, which already eats into middle-class incomes. Add Oregon's 9.9% top state income tax rate, the second highest in the country, and suddenly that hip coffee shop latte feels like it comes with a hidden surcharge. Jobs? Portland has tech, healthcare, and a strong creative sector, but the average salary of $72,000 struggles against rising costs. Big companies like Intel and Nike provide opportunities, yet the city lost nearly 35,000 jobs during the pandemic, and some industries never fully bounced back. Commuting is another sore spot. Yes, Portland boasts a decent light rail, but over 60% of residents still rely on cars. And with gas prices averaging $4.70 a gallon in 2025, that daily drive isn't cheap. Everyday living isn't much easier. Grocery bills run about 15% higher than the national average, and healthcare in Oregon costs about 12% more than the US norm. Even pet care is pricier. Locals joke that vet bills rival human doctor visits. Safety is another sticking point. Property crime is 40% above national levels, and vehicle thefts spiked 20% year over year, leaving many to invest in pricey insurance policies. On the flip side, Portland still wins hearts with its culture. More than 600 food carts, indie bookstores, craft breweries, and an unmatched bicycle culture. About 7% of residents commute by bike, one of the highest rates in the US. Its location is unbeatable too. 2 hours to the coast, 90 minutes to ski slopes. So is it worth it? Portland gives you art, culture, and natural beauty in spades, but when your paycheck disappears into taxes, rent, and high grocery bills, you start asking, is this still weird and wonderful, or just weirdly expensive? Number 9. Oakland, California. Oakland often lives in the shadow of San Francisco, but in recent years its own identity has both blossomed and been tested. The median home value hovers around $750,000, far below San Francisco's $1.3 million, yet still way out of step with the city's median household income of $92,000. That mismatch is why so many longtime residents feel squeezed out. Add property taxes averaging $6,000 a year, plus soaring insurance premiums due to wildfire risk, and affordability becomes a major headache. But Oakland's challenges go deeper than housing. Safety is a big one. Violent crime here is about 3 times the national average, and carjackings jumped nearly 27% last year. Businesses downtown have struggled, with many storefronts shuttering, creating a cycle where fewer jobs and lower foot traffic contribute to ongoing issues. Healthcare costs also run higher here than the national average, with Kaiser and Sutter dominating the local scene but not exactly offering bargain rates. On the positive side, Oakland has incredible cultural depth. It's one of the most diverse cities in the US, with over 125 languages spoken, and its food scene reflects that beautifully. From legendary soul food to authentic tacos that rival anything in Los Angeles. Sports fans are still nursing heartbreak after losing the Raiders and Warriors, but local pride runs deep with the Oakland Roots soccer team. Transportation is a mixed bag. BART connects Oakland to San Francisco in under 15 minutes, which is a massive plus for commuters, but reliability issues and fare hikes, averaging $4.50 per ride, wear people down. Gas prices sit well above $5 a gallon, adding insult to injury for drivers. Quality of life remains a paradox. You're surrounded by stunning nature, redwood parks, Lake Merritt, and a short drive to wine country. Yet the urban issues make daily living stressful. So Oakland is a city of contradictions, culturally rich, geographically blessed, but weighed down by costs, crime, and instability. Worth the price? For some, yes. For many, not anymore. Number 8. Honolulu, Hawaii. Living in Honolulu sounds like a dream. Endless beaches, sunshine nearly year-round, and sunsets that look like paintings. But paradise comes at a staggering cost. The median home price here is a jaw-dropping $1.1 million, more than double the US average, while the median household income lingers around $96,000. Renters face an equally tough reality, with one-bedroom apartments averaging $2,250 per month. Add in Hawaii's high utility bills. Electricity costs about 37 cents per kilowatt hour, nearly 3 times the national average. And suddenly, that island lifestyle feels like it's draining your bank account faster than the tide. Groceries are another shock. Because almost 90% of Hawaii's goods are imported, prices skyrocket. A gallon of milk can run $8, a loaf of bread about $6, and fresh fruit, ironically abundant on the islands, can be pricier than in mainland supermarkets. Healthcare costs are also higher, averaging 12% above the US norm, and insurance premiums keep climbing. Jobs in Honolulu revolve heavily around tourism, the military, and healthcare. While unemployment sits relatively low, salaries often don't match living costs. For example, teachers earn around $67,000 annually, which doesn't stretch far when the cost of living index here is 84% higher than average. Many locals juggle multiple jobs or share housing with extended family just to get by. Culturally, Honolulu is unmatched. You've got a rich blend of native Hawaiian traditions, Japanese influence, and American modernity. The food scene is unforgettable. Poke bowls, malasadas, and plate lunches reflect its melting pot heritage. Nature is another priceless perk. You can surf at Waikiki before work, hike Diamond Head on the weekend, or snorkel Hanauma Bay in the afternoon. But paradise isn't without problems. Traffic ranks among the worst in the nation. Rush hour on the H1 freeway can stretch a 15-minute drive into an hour. And while Honolulu remains relatively safe compared to mainland cities, homelessness is highly visible, particularly in parks and beaches, driven by both high costs and limited affordable housing. So Honolulu might look like heaven on Instagram, but for everyday life, the price tag makes many question if it's sustainable. Number 7. Boston, Massachusetts. Boston is steeped in history, cobblestone streets, revolutionary landmarks, and the academic energy of over 50 colleges and universities. But behind the charm, Boston's costs pack a punch. The median home price is around $720,000, while the average rent for a one-bedroom hits $2,800 a month, making it one of the most expensive cities on the East Coast. Add Massachusetts property taxes, about 1.1% annually, and an average state income tax rate of 5%, and the financial pressure is clear. Healthcare is another dimension. Boston is home to world-class hospitals like Mass General and Brigham and Women's, but that excellence comes at a cost. Healthcare spending here is 20% above the national average. Insurance premiums are notoriously high, though residents often argue the quality justifies it. The job market is strong, particularly in biotech, finance, and education. Boston ranks among the top U.S. cities for venture capital investment, and average salaries hover around $89,000. Yet, that still struggles against the city's high living expenses, where the overall cost of living index is 48% higher than average. Transportation is a mixed experience. Boston's subway, the T, is one of the oldest in the U.S., and while it covers much of the city, frequent delays and aging infrastructure frustrate commuters. Driving is even worse. Boston is consistently ranked among the top 5 U.S. cities for traffic congestion, and parking can cost up to $400 a month downtown. Winters add another layer of difficulty, with snow removal bills and heating costs pushing utility bills up by 25% during colder months. Still, Boston offers cultural richness that few cities can match. From Fenway Park to Symphony Hall, from clam chowder to food trucks serving global flavors, there's never a shortage of things to do. The education scene is unparalleled, with Harvard and MIT right across the Charles River. Crime rates are moderate compared to other big cities, but inequality is stark. Wealth gaps between Back Bay and Dorchester, for example, are hard to ignore. Boston delivers history, innovation, and culture in one package. But when your paycheck disappears into rent, taxes, and healthcare, it's easy to see why some residents wonder if it's worth the high price tag. Number 6. Seattle, Washington. Seattle is the Emerald City where coffee meets coding, but living here comes with a hefty bill. The median home value in 2025 sits around $820,000, while the average rent for a one-bedroom is nearly $2,400. Add Washington's notoriously high utility costs. Electricity is about 22% above the national average. And you've got a city where tech paychecks stretch, but middle-class incomes struggle. Seattle's job market is both a blessing and a curse. It's home to giants like Amazon, Microsoft, and Starbucks, drawing talent worldwide. The average tech salary can hit $130,000, yet service workers often scrape by at $40,000 to $50,000, which barely covers expenses. The city's cost of living index is 54% higher than the US average, making wage inequality glaring. Taxes are unique here. Washington has no state income tax, which sounds great, until you realize sales tax sits at 10.25% in Seattle, and property taxes can average $5,000 to $6,000 annually. Groceries cost about 15% more than average, and dining out isn't cheap. Expect to pay $18 for a burger in a downtown pub? Culturally, Seattle shines. It's the birthplace of grunge music, still buzzing with live venues, and it has more than 1,800 coffee shops for a caffeine fix. Nature is unbeatable. Kayaking on Lake Union, skiing in the Cascades, or hiking Mount Rainier, all within a short drive. But the infamous drizzle is real. Seattle sees 152 rainy days a year, and that gray sky can weigh heavily on newcomers. Infrastructure is another stress point. Traffic is among the nation's worst, with drivers spending 53 hours a year stuck in congestion. The light rail is expanding but still limited compared to older cities. Safety is mixed. Violent crime is moderate, but property crimes like car theft are 60% higher than average. Seattle offers high wages, stunning scenery, and culture galore. But with rising bills, traffic headaches, and weather that feels like permanent sweater season, it leaves many asking if the price tag matches the lifestyle. Number 5. San Francisco, California. San Francisco has long been the poster child for sky-high living costs, and 2025 hasn't brought relief. The median home value sits at an eye-watering $1.3 million, while even a modest one-bedroom apartment rents for around $3,300 a month. Add property taxes averaging $9,500 annually, and even high earners feel the squeeze. The city's tech-driven economy is both its strength and its Achilles heel. Average salaries in software or biotech can exceed $150,000, yet service industry workers often scrape by on $40,000 to $50,000, creating one of the nation's most extreme wealth divides. San Francisco's cost of living index is nearly 80% higher than the US average, making it one of the priciest cities in the world. Everyday expenses bite hard. A gallon of gas runs about $5.80, groceries cost 20% more than the national norm, and childcare can exceed $24,000 a year. Add in California's 9.3% state income tax for middle earners and a sales tax of 8.6%, and suddenly even six-figure salaries don't feel comfortable. Quality of life issues also spark debate. San Francisco's homelessness crisis remains visible, with over 7,500 unhoused individuals on city streets. Crime, especially property theft, is a sore point. Car break-ins are so common that locals sometimes leave their windows rolled down to avoid smashed glass. Commuting is expensive too. Bay Area toll bridges can run $8 each way, and parking downtown averages $400 a month. But San Francisco still dazzles. Golden Gate Park, cable cars, the historic Castro District, and a global food scene remind residents why they put up with the costs. Culturally, it's unmatched. From tech meetups to opera, from Chinatown dim sum to Michelin-starred dining, the climate helps too. Mild year-round with just 65 rainy days annually. So is it worth it? If you're pulling a tech salary and love urban vibrancy maybe, but for many, San Francisco has shifted from city of dreams to city of debt, making its high price tag harder to justify. Number 4. New York City, New York. New York City isn't just a place, it's practically its own planet. But Planet NYC comes with interstellar costs. The median home value in 2025 is about $820,000 citywide, but in Manhattan, it soars past $1.2 million. Renters face even steeper hurdles, with the average one-bedroom now at $4,100 per month, making NYC the most expensive rental market in the country. The job market is massive but brutal. Wall Street, Broadway, tech, and media keep the city buzzing, with average salaries hovering around $93,000. Yet, when groceries cost 25% more than the US average, and a monthly Metro card for the subway now runs $132, even solid paychecks evaporate quickly. Dining out, a simple slice of pizza that was once $1 now averages $3.50, and a cocktail in Manhattan will easily set you back $18 to $20. Taxes are another blow. New York State takes up to 8.82% income tax, and the city adds its own 3.8% income tax on top. Property taxes are lower than in many states, but sky-high insurance and maintenance fees on condos and co-ops make up the difference. Utility bills here are about 20% above the national average, with heating and cooling costs climbing steeply in extreme seasons. Infrastructure is both a miracle and a mess. The subway moves over 4 million riders daily, yet delays, crowding, and aging stations frustrate locals. Traffic congestion is legendary, with drivers losing 117 hours per year to gridlock. Safety is a mixed bag. Violent crime has fallen since the 90s, but property crime and subway incidents remain in headlines. Still, New York offers a cultural universe no other US city can touch. Over 80 museums, 25,000 restaurants, and Broadway itself keep the city alive 24/7. Central Park gives locals a green oasis, and diversity is unmatched. Nearly 40% of residents are foreign-born. Is New York City worth the price? For dreamers chasing opportunity, maybe. But for anyone tired of working just to survive, it's a city where the hustle can feel less like ambition and more like survival. Number 3. Houston, Texas. Houston often gets billed as the affordable alternative to America's pricey coastal cities, but that reputation is starting to crack. The median home value has climbed to about $315,000 in 2025, still lower than national hotspots. Yet property taxes here are among the highest in the nation at an average of 2.03%, meaning many homeowners face annual bills exceeding $6,500. Renters don't escape either. The average one-bedroom is now around $1,550, up nearly 20% in just 5 years. Houston's lack of state income tax sounds great, but residents pay through high sales taxes, up to 8.25%, and costly essentials. Flood insurance is practically mandatory. Premiums average $1,500 annually due to the city's vulnerability to hurricanes and heavy rains. Add sweltering summers with over 100 days above 90 degrees Fahrenheit, and the cost of staying cool with sky-high energy bills isn't small either. The job market is diverse, anchored by energy, aerospace, and healthcare, with NASA and the Texas Medical Center the largest in the world. Average salaries hover around $73,000, which looks solid until you realize commuting costs are steep. Houston is one of the most car-dependent cities in the US, with drivers spending 54 hours annually stuck in traffic, and gas prices hovering near $3.70 a gallon. Culturally, Houston shines with diversity. Nearly 150 languages are spoken, and foodies rave about everything from Tex-Mex to Vietnamese pho. Sports fans get the Astros, Rockets, and Texans, and the city's museum district packs more than 19 institutions within a few miles. But urban sprawl and flooding issues, the 2017 Hurricane Harvey floods cost $125 billion in damages, leave residents questioning infrastructure resilience. In short, Houston's low sticker price is tempting, But when you factor in taxes, insurance, weather, and endless commuting, the city doesn't feel as cheap as it looks on paper. Number 2. Los Angeles, California. Los Angeles is the city of dreams, Hollywood, palm trees, and year-round sunshine. But living that dream comes with a staggering bill. The median home value sits around $930,000 in 2025, while the average rent for a one-bedroom is about $2,750. Property taxes average 1.2%, but add California's state income tax, up to 13.3%, and suddenly you're working just to stay afloat. Everyday life drains wallets fast. Gas prices hover near $6 a gallon, groceries cost about 15% above the national average, and eating out is brutal. Expect $20 for a simple lunch and nearly $80 for dinner for two at a modest restaurant. Healthcare in California also runs 15% higher than the US norm. Jobs? LA has a massive economy. Entertainment, tech, fashion, aerospace, generating a regional GDP over $1 trillion. Average salaries hit $84,000, but wealth divides are stark. Service workers struggle while celebrities and executives live in multi-million-dollar mansions. Commuting adds pain. LA drivers lose 95 hours annually to traffic jams, and public transit ridership remains weak despite improvements. Culturally, LA is unmatched. You've got over 200 museums, beaches from Malibu to Venice, and sports galore with the Lakers, Dodgers, and Rams. The food scene is global. You can grab Korean BBQ, Mexican street tacos, and Michelin-starred sushi in one day. But safety and homelessness remain pressing issues. LA has more than 46,000 unhoused individuals, and crime headlines often rattle newcomers. The weather is near perfect, just 35 rainy days per year. But wildfires and drought bring real risks, with insurance premiums climbing to $2,000 annually in some areas. So is LA worth it? For dream chasers and those craving glamour, yes. For everyone else, the high costs, congestion, and inequality make it a tough sell. Number 1. Miami, Florida. Miami markets itself as paradise. Turquoise waters, Art Deco architecture, and nightlife that goes until sunrise. But paradise isn't cheap. The median home price here has surged to $560,000 in 2025, while median household income lags at just $57,000. That's a price-to-income ratio of nearly 10 to 1, among the worst in the nation. Renters aren't spared. A one-bedroom averages $2,300, up almost 40% in 5 years. Florida has no state income tax, but Miami makes up for it in hidden costs. Property insurance is crushing, averaging $6,000 to $10,000 annually to hurricane and flood risks. Homeowners often spend more on insurance than property taxes, which hover around 1.0%. Energy bills also bite hard. Cooling homes during Miami's 105-plus humid days above 90 degrees Fahrenheit racks up costs fast. Jobs are another hurdle. Tourism, real estate, and finance dominate, but wages are low compared to costs. The average salary sits at $63,000, far short of what's needed. Service workers often juggle 2 or 3 jobs. Healthcare costs run about 11% above the national average, and traffic congestion is brutal, with commuters losing 56 hours annually in gridlock. Yet Miami remains magnetic. It's a cultural melting pot with over 70% of residents identifying as Hispanic or Latino, bringing world-class Cuban coffee, Caribbean cuisine, and salsa rhythms to every corner. The beaches are spectacular, and events like Art Basel keep Miami global. Nightlife is electric, with clubs and bars buzzing until dawn. But Miami is also ground zero for climate change. Rising seas threaten coastal neighborhoods, and experts warn that by 2040, 12% of Miami's housing could be underwater. That looming risk already pushes insurance and mortgage rates higher. So while Miami dazzles on postcards, the reality for residents is a wallet-crushing mix of high housing costs, insurance nightmares, and climate threats. It's paradise, but at a premium many can't sustain.